2 days away from the season opener, and we have a shakeup at linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. We will talk about that next and check in with our man in Brazil coming up on the PHLY Eagles podcast. Hola, pessoal, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles podcast presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Hello, everybody. 2 days away from the season opener in São Paolo. Bo Wulf here. Handsome Rich Hofmann to my left. Jamie Lynch further to my left. Guys, how we doing? We're 2 days away from the season opener, and throughout the season, you two are going to be mostly taking the reins on these Wednesday shows. How we doing?
Yeah, doing real well. Excited to do Wednesdays with Rich here and talk some birds. Did a good job of pacing the excitement levels. I kept it kind of bottled up, and this week it's starting to
run through a wall.
Yeah, this is fun. Like, we still haven't seen Saquon Barkley in an Eagles jersey. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have, because you've been down there most days, but I haven't. I don't know if Rich has or not. So
I've seen him in like pictures.
Yeah, but like
run.
But I want to see him play. So we're 2 days away. It's pretty damn awesome.
Now, both of you have gone on the record with some predictions, which everybody can read on our big drop on allphly.com, our PHLY Eagles season preview. You have 10 brand new stories on there. Saquon Barkley, Jamie mentions. Well, Zach, he did the classic Zach thing. He went to the hometown. He went to the place where he gets his food. You got a whole story of Saquon coming home and why it was a no-brainer for him to sign with the Eagles. You've got our predictions. You've got the roster rundowns. You got Cuz writing about why the Eagles are so in the zeitgeist now. You shouldn't take it for granted. You've got Fran breaking down what's going to be different about the Kellen Moore scheme. You've got Cam Jurgens ready to take over for Jason Kelce, Les Bowen writing about Jalen Hurts. Rich has a rundown of the schedule. All good stuff. Become a diehard. Go check out that PHLY Eagles season preview. Now, we do have some news, guys. We're going to talk to Zach in a minute in São Paulo. I do want to, maybe we should take bets on how long he slept, because I know that was a big, and maybe in the chat, weigh in if you think, let's go over under 4.5 hours of sleep. Do you think he went over or under there? But Rich, let's hear from you. How are you feeling, like, excitement level about this Brazil game? I know you wrote about it in the newsletter that it's a little bit on your radar that this doesn't seem like the best laid plans of Roger and men.
No, it doesn't. I think you agree with me as well.
It's a disaster.
I think you 100% agree.
I mean, I think it's cool.
It's cool.
But I don't think they've done it well.
No, it's all from the NFL and the Eagles' perspective. And I guess what I would say, Bo, is just, if you're going to go to a country, cool, embrace it.
That you've never been to before, like the league, right?
Yeah. And a country that you have mentioned is like lot of NFL football fans. Absolutely. There, right? They love the beautiful game. They have their soccer dominance as well, but they love football. There's so many kind of Eagles Brazil accounts, and I think it's very cool that they are going there. But, like, can we have some planning here? Can we have some, this idea of, oh man, the players have this don't do list, and like, where's the fan outreach, right? Where's the clinics for the little kids? And it just seems like, I mean, the Eagles, along with Zach, are flying 2 days before, and Zach, I'm not worried about him. Like, the person who sleeps, his sleep schedule is very clear that he can bounce back, and
I'm worried long run. This is the start of the marathon. He can't be sprinting mile one as he's got the specter of the full season barreling down on him, along with a book release.
That's true. I'm more confident than you, but that's okay. But yeah, like they're going to play what 2 days after popping off that long flight. It just seems like everything's rushed. The business trip element of this is I don't know. I think it should be more than that. And it's okay. Like, I am super excited about the game itself, right? I'm excited to see Saquon Barkley. But yeah, it does seem like the planning of this whole trip from the NFL's perspective, and we can lump the Eagles in there as well. Not the best, that's all.
I think that's probably right, but
I think the Brazil narrative is getting a little overblown too.
Yeah, that's the thing that's disappointing. It's like all of this xenophobia about come on, you can't be doing this in Brazil. Like, don't wear green.
I lived in Northeast DC for 5 years. I've lived in South Philadelphia. Like, you have to be careful.
Ricky Pierce got shot in the chest the other day.
In Union Square. I think it's taken on this narrative that's unfair to the country of Brazil.
And the bristling, from Devontae and all those guys about this. They're not treating it like that. This is a cool thing.
Yeah,
and I understand why. Like, they got to fly 10 hours. They're just going to play a game.
Hurts had a cool
little bit silly, but
comment about it. He was the only one that I've seen that's like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. This is cool. Everybody else is kind of like,
it's weird though. Jalen is wired so like business like. He's like, I can do a business trip in a foreign country. I'm not sure if he had to do kind of the cool
Brazilians buy sneakers too. Yeah, is basically what he's going for. All right. Well, we do have some Eagles news, and so we're going to bring on our Eagles insider. This is our Ace Hardware temperature check, because we're going to take a look at which Eagle is heating up with our Ace Hardware temperature check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at www.acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. And Zach Berman, live from São Paulo, is going to tell us that Devin White cooling down. What is the counterbalance to that, Zach? And first of all, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you guys. Devin White. Well, the Eagles are on a flight right now. They left at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Devin White's not on that plane. Devin White did not travel with the team, will not play against the Packers. Has an ankle injury. Was not something that had kept him out of practice last week, earlier this week, but showed up on the injury report yesterday and is not traveling with the team today. So you will see Nakobe Dean out there with Zack Baun. Frankly, you might have seen Nakobe Dean regardless. The Eagles have been pretty coy about what their plans were at linebacker, as Bo pointed out throughout the summer. Like, that's a position that they kept rotating, even though Devin White and Zack Baun were always the first guys up. There was, a Vic Fangio who's a straight shooter about most things, right? He said this week Quinyon Mitchell's going to play, right? There's no pitch count on Brandon Graham. He said as recently as, Monday? Monday. I'm sorry, the days are running together. Monday, that linebacker is a spot that is still unsettled, but they're still figuring that out. And so, but look for Nakobe Dean to play there. I think he's had a good summer, the best he's had during his 3 years here. And this could be his job going forward this season.
Do you expect that it will be Nakobe Dean and Zack Baun just throughout the game as your top two linebackers, or do you think we will see some kind of rotation with potentially Jeremiah Trotter Jr. or even Oren Burks involved?
Sure. I wouldn't rule either of those out. I do think Baun and Dean will be the first two up. But I don't think this is a position where there's an ironclad two. Now, Trotter didn't take as much work with the ones this year or this summer, but he did mix in some. Burks is someone experienced. The Eagles wanted him on the 53 clearly, right? Now saved him in practice squad elevation, but he's someone that they liked from the time they signed him. So, yeah, I wouldn't rule that out, but I think Dean's going to be the top linebacker there, and I think Dean will be the one with the green dot.
Last one on Devin White, who I think we can say the temperature was cooling off on, Zach. I think Jeff McClain reported that Dean might have beaten out Devin White anyway, and Albert Breer reporting that the Eagles potentially looking to trade Devin White in the lead up to the roster cutdown. What do you make of all that? And, is Devin White going to be here for much longer?
Well, the Eagles have a kind of a checkered history signing these veteran linebackers to team-friendly deals in the past. They've missed more than they've hit. I like the Devin White signing because of the upside. I can't say Devin White clearly separated himself this year. If you were hoping the change of scenery was going to be beneficial, was going to be what makes him play the way he did early in his career, that last year was a contract dispute. I don't think if you were watching practice this summer without the context of who he was, he would jump off to you. Now, there are athletic traits there that I like, and there's a track record, which is why I was in favor of the signing. But, yeah, if Dean plays well and they're happy with the Dean and Baun combination, then I don't know if White's here the full season. It's just I think it's a little premature for me to say it, but it's certainly not good that he's not flying with the team this week.
So, Zach, on that trade front, wouldn't it make sense? You're not really going to get anything for Devin White. Wouldn't it just make sense to carry him on the roster? Because Nakobe Dean hasn't really shown a proclivity to stay healthy here. Isn't Devin White
that's
better
what they're
than
doing
what you
now.
can pick up off the streets, per se?
Sure, and that's I think Albert's report was saying like before cutdown day. If they could have gotten anything cut down day.
Okay,
The
so you
fact
think
that they
that's
kept him
over?
on the 53. Yeah, I don't now if it's the type of thing where the Eagles have a set starting group and White's not contributing on special teams, then you weigh kind of the merit of the roster spot. But again, I think it is premature to say that. We've seen in the past. I was listening yesterday. Again, the days are running together. It was yesterday night in the airport to Bo and Fran. They did a great job on yesterday's show, their predictions. And they talked about Nicholas Moro last year, and he had that 3-sack game, right? And then he's not even in the lineup a few weeks later. Linebacker is a position where I think the Eagles will cycle through this until they find the right group of guys. So if Baun underachieves, if Dean underachieves, it could be White back in there. It certainly makes sense to keep him around for now, and we'll kind of see how this develops. I like White, and as Bo will probably laugh, the name appeal is what jumps to me there, because there is a track record. We've seen him have success before.
You a track record of him being benched last year by the coach who he sees like as a father figure. I mean,
yes. I mean, we're talking about him compared to the alternatives, right? Now they made a sizable investment for their standards, but certainly not a sizable investment for a linebacker standards. Like, to give you an example, when we were doing the free agency discussions, right? One of the I was talking about Jordan Brooks. Jordan Brooks got like $10+ million in free agency. Devin White, the Eagles got him, I think, for what, $4 million guaranteed, $3.5 million guaranteed. So it's really not a big financial investment. It is their biggest financial investment since Nigel Bradham. It's a little bit more than Kaiser White, but it's not a big financial investment, relatively speaking. So I think even they went into the signing hoping, but not relying on this working.
Well, I mean, you could make would you rather have Saquon Barkley and Devin White or Jordan Brooks and Devin Singletary?
I'll let you answer that question. Who would you rather have?
I think I'd probably rather have the linebacker in this offense that can make the most out of a running back. Yeah.
And this goes back to our conversation about like A players at A money compared to, if you're paying Jordan Brooks a lot of money and he's not an A player or even like an A minus player, you'd rather pay the top running back top dollar. But I do see your point. Like I'm not overwhelmed by paying Devin Singletary $5 million a year. But there are other avenues they could have gone. So I'm with you there.
We can save this big picture conversation of the roster building for another time. Let's get to the scene setting here, Zach. Now I know that you are disappointed with your backdrop here. Tell us and tell the audience the lengths that you have tried to go to bring us a better backdrop.
Yeah, so this is a point of frustration for me. Right now, you see the interior window of my room. On this side is the bathroom. I'm facing a window that I tried doing the hit from there.
Toilet can.
It's really just an office building behind me, and then you see kind of a skyline. I'm not saying the skyline, and I'll get to that in a bit. In the distance. Now the other side of the hotel, where I think Dave Zangaro is, EJ Smith is, based on Instagram photos.
Here comes the FOMO.
They have this beautiful bridge. Okay. And I've gone to the front desk twice, and I've tried to see if I can get a room on that side. And this isn't because, I want some great view for me. It's for the viewers. I've been thinking I'm doing hits on John Marks' show, hits on Anthony's show, PHLY Eagles hits. Like, I want that view in the background. They're telling me every single room in the hotel is booked. It's the NFL is staying here. This is. I was down in the lobby.
Did you try sliding a little bit of cash dollar?
It's a pretty bridge. I think we're actually kind of missing out here.
Okay, yeah. So if you go on my Instagram, Z_Berman, you can see that I went up to the There's like a gym slash swimming pool on the top floor. Went up there to take shots of it. I went outside because I walked around the perimeter of the hotel looking for a visual because I did a 60-second short on the Devin White news, and I wanted to do that outside. And I found the spot there, and I was trying to get the bridge in the background there. Just did not work out. About 30 minutes ago, Julia, our terrific head of production, I wanted to test out because I can't get the hotel Wi-Fi on the phone when I'm outside. So I wanted to see if the connection over the cellular was strong enough because I got the handy selfie stick here, or tripod / selfie stick, and I was gonna do this outside while I just holding this up, and so you had this great backdrop in the background. Julia told me, and she was right. Like, well, she could only know. I'm not there. I can't know. The connection was too spotty for that. So unfortunately, I said I'll come up to the hotel room and I'll try to see if I can get this background. And I tried angling the camera the right way. And then Bo says it's just an office building. So I'm deferring to the host here, Bo. But
it was also dark.
Your face was very dark.
In any event, I really want to get the right backdrop. I want to show people the scene. If you go to all our social accounts, you can see some of the scene in the background there. I will be at practice tomorrow from Corinthians Arena, and I will come on our show from Corinthians Arena. Hopefully get a good backdrop there. But I'm here. Our company invested in us being here. I want to make sure that the audience sees beautiful São Paolo.
Zach, what have you eaten so far? Have you gotten any local cuisine
set
yet?
the scene.
Yeah,
forget about the backdrops. Tell us about your experience.
Yeah, the Birds fans everywhere. What's it look like?
Well, so look, it's 3 days before. I left on Tuesday night through Miami to São Paolo. So you would think a Tuesday night flight, Philly to Miami, Miami to São Paolo, maybe not be. It might not be full of Eagles fans. I got to tell you, full of Eagles fans. And I know, if you watched Anthony's show the other day, some of the fan groups, like Philly Sports Trips, like they're out here, right? Now they're in Rio. All right, they're doing Brazil the way Bo did. They're going to Rio, and then they're only coming to São Paulo like the day of. Well, I don't want to speak for them, but like they're spending most of the time in Rio, from my understanding. But a lot of fans came independently, and they were on my flight. There was, I was on the flight to Miami. I was sitting right by John Clark, and people passed John Clark, and go Birds, go Birds, go Birds to John Clark, right? Like John's one of the most recognizable people in Philly, right?
What about to you?
What about to you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up.
Well, as PHLY continues to grow, there's going to be more people saying
nobody recognized
you.
I don't know. We don't need to get into that. No.
What did anybody recognize you?
Not really. No.
Well, hold on. Were you doing the? Did you have your baseball cap on? Your
incognito mode.
Your baseball cap with no logo, the black one.
Yes, yeah, definitely had that.
You pull it down low. I could see how you do. I noticed.
Yeah. Now, look, I mean, yeah. But it was. I know your
travel gear.
So I was, John Clark, by the way, John's the man. He's in the Miami airport, shouting over to me from the other side. Kyle Schwarber just hit a home run, right? So shout out to John there. He was getting. This was like 10:45 in the Miami airport. So anyways, a lot of Eagles fans coming down here for sure. Did sleep on the plane. I know that was something you wanted to know. Got a good chunk of sleep.
The chat unanimously taking the under on 4.5 hours.
I would also take an under on Zach.
But he might have had some performance enhancing drugs. What do we think?
Ooh.
A little bit of an upset here. I fell asleep early in the flight, and it's one of those things like you wake up off and on, but you're still in your sleep trance. You fall back to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Woke up with like an hour and a half to go on the flight. 5 hours and 33 minutes according to
the book is absolutely cashing in. Just raking it in. What a big day for the PHLY Sports.
Bet365
is about to buy more advertising.
yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. It made the flight fly through. I actually, the flight back, I'm taking nonstop. That's a 10-hour flight on the way back. I got to figure out how I can tap into what happened last night because if you tell me I can sleep for 6 hours and only have be awake for 4 hours of the flight, sign me up for that. That's great. And I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to figure out if the flight home right now does not have the little Wi-Fi logo on it. That's a concern. Day after game, want to do some follow-up writing, some follow-up columns. So we're paying close attention to see if that Wi-Fi logo appears sometime.
So Zach, if you hadn't slept the whole time, what were you planning on watching? And don't tell me work and writing and all that. You had to watch a little something.
Well, no, that's the thing. I wasn't going to write on that because I wanted to sleep. Like I specifically said for that flight because there's only a 1 hour time difference. I can't catch up on sleep here. I wanted them to make sure that I slept on that flight. But I did download a few things onto my iPad, and then I was going to, Bo kept talking about Succession. No, Bo talked. I never watched the final season of Succession. I downloaded the final season of Succession, but I gotta say, I want to go to sleep, and when I'm going to sleep, I need either like something I'm familiar with, so I'm not attached to the plot lines.
Yep.
And so Ted Lasso put that on the, they had it on the screen in front of us, on the in-seat screen. Ted Lasso was watching that episode. I didn't even get to the result of the game. Boom, it was out right away. So thank you, Jason Sudeikis.
Well, Zach, I think I can speak for everybody here, everybody in the chat, and especially Emily. We are proud of you. We are proud of you for sleeping.
Big, man.
Yeah.
Job getting some sleep.
This is a new year, new you.
Well, no, I'm not planning on sleeping a lot while I'm here. It's just that specific night. But Emily is controlling the Twitter account, so you might see some tweets. She's having a little too much fun with it. She's like, she put it up. She put up the first 3 tweets. She said, that was so easy. Do you need anything more? And I'm like, yeah, you have enough to do at home. I don't want to buy your time up. And she's like, no, just text and I'll copy and paste. So she's controlling the Twitter account right now. And then to answer Jamie's question, I walked around to in the kind of area here. So the hotel that I'm in is a little bit like removed from, I guess, the hubbub of the city. It's more kind of financial area. There's a mall that's attached to it that I walk by. There's 3 now. Bo knows Brazil far better than me. This might be a thing in Brazil. 3 different buffets that I passed by. Is that a big thing? Like lunch buffets?
No, I mean, I was in Rio for 5 days. I'm not like a scholar of the whole city or the whole country.
So did you hit the buffet?
It's a pretty vast.
Yeah,
place.
3 different buffets. Three different buffets and it's a big stew country.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right?
Some great stews.
Yeah, so
love a stew.
There was like a
stew
sampling of like six different stews. You can go with the I don't want to say all like the different meats that were in the stews, but big stew city.
Why? Who are you afraid of offending by including the meats in the stew?
No, because I don't want to miss like night. There was some like vegetables.
If the oxtail's watching this, I don't want him to know that I forgot him.
I got to tell you, on like an 85-degree day, I'm not a big hot stew guy. Fortunately, as I said,
that's fair.
There's the highest concentration of Japanese people here in São Paulo, outside of Japan. Like I can give you a lot of São Paulo facts that I've looked up. So had a little sushi with the buffet. Had a nice combination of the sushi rolls and the stew and a little bit of a salad. And then I want a little pick me up, and I went to the coffee bar at the hotel, and I said, what do you recommend at a Brazil coffee shop? And he told me cappuccino. Okay. And I said, when in Brazil, so I'll have the cappuccino. Yeah.
Are you planning on trying any exotic meats this week? Are you going to go outside your comfort zone?
Just as long as he doesn't
that's not out of my comfort zone, but I am going to. Yeah, look. Bo told me don't overrate the Brazilian steakhouse experience. I've had multiple people, including those living in São Paulo, who've reached out, who specifically recommended the same Brazilian steakhouse. So I got to give that a shot.
All right.
And so,
it is
depending
so
on
perfectly you to end up at a buffet and just know that because there's a high concentrate, this fact that that you've picked up. Well, and then I got to get the buffet sushi.
Well, how was it?
I mean, I've had better sushi before. To be honest.
Like
and
going to the
then,
grocery store and we're like, oh well,
yeah. And then I said, and then they asked me what you want to drink, and I said, what do you have? And they said they have their house juice. Their house juice is a combination of like different like fruits, and ginger was in there. It was fine. It was good, but I'm very curious to explore more of the São Paulo.
What
cuisine.
rave reviews? The sushi was and the house juice was fine.
But I've only had one meal here. I mean, I've been here for 6 hours, right? But this is what I need to say, okay? And I'm sorry, I know we have ad breaks we need to get to. I'm sorry, but I will say the sprawl in this city is incredible. So there's 21 million people who live in the whole São Paulo area. There's 14 million in the municipality, 21 million in the area. It's the most densely populated city in the Americas. And you can see it. Like typically, you have a downtown or like like Philly has Center City, Manhattan. You have that one area. Here, it's so sprawled out. It took an hour and a half from the airport to the hotel. It's going to take 2.5 hours from the hotel to the stadium. 2 hours tomorrow from the stadium to the game. I asked people where can I walk to, and they say you don't walk. You have to go anywhere, and everywhere is like 20 minutes, 30 minutes away. It is so sprawled out here, but I'm trying to kind of see as much as I can of São Paulo within reason. I know in case Emily's watching here, within reason, but I will. I am making sure that I am getting the full São Paulo experience as much as I can, including, by the way, I say São Paulo experience. São Paulo Antonio too. I saw São Paulo in the lobby today. São Paulo and São Paulo in São Paulo. What are the odds? Yeah, it's great seeing Sal.
Like to see 21 million people inside him.
Excuse me. I don't know how to respond to that, but it was great seeing Sal.
Zach, we do have to go. But I want to give you one chance. Give us the 30-second plug on what people can read about your trip to Saquon Barkley's hometown, which is up on allphly.com. Yeah,
first off, I do want to publicly recognize Bo here. Bo carried us with our special section. I'm proud of the special section. Bo was the leader with that and has 4 pieces. I highly recommend all of them. My piece was the Saquon Barkley piece. If you remember, I missed practice one day because the Eagles changed to Monday and Tuesday. I went out there and I asked Saquon before I went out there. I said, "Where should I eat?" Okay, and he told me the restaurant, Samuel Owens' restaurant. So I go to Samuel Owens' restaurant, and across the street from Samuel Owens' restaurant is a rock that says "Home of Saquon Barkley" and Saquon Barkley's achievements. And I walk into the restaurant, and this very nice woman, Stacy, at the front, she greets me, and she wasn't greeting me.
Name recollection
she was sitting me down, and I told her what I was there for, and I said, "Do you know Saquon?" She says, "Do I know Saquon? He lived in the apartment above me for 7 years. Like, what are the odds?" And I saw Saquon a week later I was talking to him for the story, and I said I spoke to Stacy, and he looks at me like I'm creeping on him, and I'm like, "How did you meet Stacy?" And I said she was working at Samuel Owens' restaurant. And then I was, I was scrolling through some of the pictures on my phone with Saquon. It was like genuine, unless he's a great actor, which might be the case. He sees some of these pictures and he's like, wow. He's like, I need to bring my daughter to see that. And he said at one point, like, this is before I was saying, this is when I was just say to everybody, right? And so you really got the sense in talking to him and being there, like who he was before he was Saquon Barkley, if you will, and a really coming back to this area is very meaningful for him. Because of that, he didn't grow up an Eagles fan. He grew up a Jets fan, but all his boys are Eagles fans. And in addition to that, like the idea, now it took me 57 minutes to get there from a little bit like west of Philly, from Montgomery County. Saquon says he gets there in 45 minutes. Like, he drives considerably faster than I do. But anyways, like the idea that he's
Yeah, I know, man.
no, Leadfoot Barkley, right?
I know.
But the idea that
But
the idea that he's so close to home is meaningful to him, and I tried to kind of paint the scene for the readers. Check that out in addition to all the other stories on PHLY.com.
All right, Zach, we do have to let you go, but we also have a super chat for you from Chase Daniel Plainview, who says, Zach, did you make a takeoff joke to John Clark?
Ooh.
I did not make a takeoff joke to John Clark, although I felt bad because I was in the bulkhead seat, okay, and John was in the row behind me. So John was in, well, it's not row 2, it's like row 8, and bulkhead's row 7, whatever it is, right? And John's like a foot taller than me, right? And so I was going to offer John my seat because he needs a legroom more than I do.
Don't hit the player, hit the game.
You know, but then there was the bulkhead seat across from me was open. I was waiting for him to move. He did not move. But yeah, I did not make that joke to John. It's always good seeing John.
All right, Zach, go paint some more pictures of the scene. See if there's any other gas station sushi places.
Yeah,
you can
please
check
keep
out.
a food diary of your week. I'd love to read that.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, there's a cookie place in the mall that I was gonna pass up the sweets, but when in São Paulo, I'm here on a company dime. Like the audience wants to know my cookie reviews, so I will go and I will take I'll take a picture of the cookies and I will tell people how the São Paulo cookies are.
All right, thank you very much, Zach. And we go from one ZB to another, talking about our friends at ZBiotics. Now, I know Rich has a tough situation coming up on Friday night. Week 1, Eagles season opener. Also got a wedding to go to. I know you don't want to feel bad on Saturday morning, so maybe do a little ZBiotics pre-alcohol beforehand. Because let's face it, after a night with drinks, we don't bounce back the same way that we used to. So if I'm going to drink, I need to make a choice. I can either have a great night or a great next day. That is, until I found ZBiotics pre-alcohol. Let me tell you, if there's a surefire way to wake up feeling fresh after a night of drinking, it's with ZBiotics pre-alcohol. Pre-alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It is this byproduct, not dehydration, that is to blame for your rough morning. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down, so just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you will feel your best tomorrow. Vacations, weddings, birthdays, and reunions. There's so much going on, including the start of football season. Get the most out of your summer plans and your fall plans by stocking up on pre-alcohol now. Go to zbiotics.com/PHLY Eagles to get 15% off your first order when you use code PHLY Eagles, all one word. At checkout, pre-alcohol is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they will refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/PHLY Eagles and use the code PHLY Eagles at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, ZBiotics, for sponsoring this episode and our good times.
I had a ZBiotics Sunday before a little concert date night with my wife. And,
Nice.
Big reviews in the Lynch household.
We like the ZBiotics.
Oh, yeah.
All
Big
right.
fan. And the other thing we like, of course, is Empire Today. You know the jingle. You know the company. You've heard it for years. Today, if you go to empiretoday.com/PHLY, you can get $350 off new floors. Empire Today is brilliant because you get the shop at home convenience right there in your own house. Who likes going to stores? Not me. Well, Empire Today, they'll come to your house. They'll look at your rooms and evaluate what you need, listen to you about what you're looking for, and bring you what they think is the best for what your needs are. They don't want to overwhelm you with hundreds of different products that you know nothing about. They're going to listen to you, take what you want, and they have a virtual floor designer. They can let you look at what your new floors are going to look like in your house right there, so you see it right there in your own home where you're comfortable. Shopping for floors at a big box store, it can be frustrating. Big box stores in general are frustrating. So do it from the comfort of your house. They pride themselves on that convenient at-home service. They help customers shop for floors where they use their floors, and you just see it right there in your own house. And they service their own warranties. If an issue does arise over time, just call Empire, and they service all their warranties themselves, so you're not going to have to track down your manufacturer's phone number. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive $350 off when they use the promo code PHLY. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHLY for details.
All right, Rich, I want to ask you a question. Given the, this Devin White news, the Nakobe Dean thing, not necessarily involved in what Zach and I were semi-arguing about the roster building, but just a temperature check for you. Another year where we don't know what to expect, or we sort of expect that the Eagles linebackers are going to be a problem. In this game in particular, the Packers very good at manipulating those linebackers. Seems like a place where they can make some hay. What's like your just as an Eagles fan, like, level of trust here? Or are you a little bit over having to worry about this?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we're back at square one.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. And honestly, for most of the training camp, I think pretty much every observer said, all right, Devin White he looks fine. He's getting most of the first team snaps. Now, you would say it's probably fair to point out it's hard to gauge linebackers.
It's the most difficult because, you can't tell from the sideline view if guys are in the right place or not. Now Nakobe Dean at the open practice at the link, like, missed a few tackles in the open field.
That was obvious.
That is when, like, you can see stuff. Yeah. But I mean, Devin White, most of the stuff that he was doing was coming forward.
Yeah.
And you can make the case that if that is what he's doing, it's probably not a good sign.
And real quick, you would also agree that over the last week and a half of training camp, it looked like Nakobe Dean was making enough, at the open practice, he was making enough bad plays that stood out. He actually was making some good plays that stood out.
He was. There's one that pops in mind where he was actually, like, in coverage on Devontae Smith on a crossing route and made a nice play. And that's one where, like, okay, that's one to, keep in the back of your mind because that's what you need to see. I think it's a little bit overblown. Like, I don't think that Nakobe Dean was, like, looking like mid-career Bobby Wagner out there at practice. But I do agree that it was cleared the low bar of his best summer so far.
So my concern in all this is Zack Baun. Because
exactly. We're just like
Trotter Jr. and Nakobe Dean have physical limitations where they aren't an ideal pair together.
Right.
If Zack Baun isn't good, they might be screwed.
Oh.
Like, Nakobe Dean is tough because, one, you have to count on him being healthy, which he hasn't shown an ability to do in 2 years. Now, 3, Zack Baun is a total wild card in this. And if Trot and Nakobe can't be paired together because teams are just going to pick on him in the passing game, I mean, it's potentially
the Zack Baun thing
disastrous.
is entirely theoretical.
Yeah.
I thought he looked better than I expected him to this summer, and his instincts seemed a little bit better than I would have expected, given the fact that he has never really played the position full time. He over the course of his 4-year rookie contract with the Saints, according to True Media, I was looking it up, he has like 150 snaps in coverage. Devin White had like 450 last year, right? So that's just showing you how little he's actually been asked to do that. So yeah, like Vic Fangio loved Zack Baun. He that's part of the reason that he's here. You go back to like when he was asked about the linebackers in the spring, he was the first guy he mentioned.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to have a chance. I'm pretty skeptical that it's gonna
Me
last,
too.
just because like if he could do that, wouldn't he have done that before? And so that's why I kind of think that. I mean, I like Trotter Jr. I think eventually he will be involved here. But I'm curious if Oren Burks now is going to be a guy who's going to like shockingly play.
That's
He
what
goes,
like
he
the
goes
news
from
today.
barely making the 53 to he might
He didn't make the 53.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
got called up from the practice squad.
It feels like we're hanging by dental floss from Oren Burks
Already.
contributing. And it's not even game 1 yet.
Yeah.
it's also like the Palace intrigue with the reporting on this too. Like I could accept, okay, Devin White's hurt, like he can't play.
Right.
But the idea of we don't know what Zack Baun's going to give you. We don't know what Nakobe Dean's going to give you. Like, let's say Nakobe Dean hits. Let's say he plays well. Why can't he play with Devin White? And now it seems like this is almost being taken off the table.
It's a little bit on my radar of like this season, which is like okay, how serious are they? Like, are they really together? Like, like all these moving parts who are just crammed into one, Frankenstein body, and like, oh, there's nothing to see here. Nick and Jalen are totally fine. Like, we're all getting along. We're all buddy. And then the day before they fly to Brazil, like this guy who wasn't on the injury report basically at all is all of a sudden out with an ankle injury. Like, come on.
Yeah. And what do you think? What do you think the Packers are doing right now? Finding ways to execute over the middle
Devin
of the field.
White's not going to play.
Well, they're not doing that, but they are finding. All right, well, if Trotter gets playing time, we're going to pick on him as soon as he steps on the field. If Zack Baun is, they look at his preseason tape and then think he over pursues everything, they're going to draw up something to counter that. They're just going to attack. Or it just feels like the linebackers are just going to continue to get attacked.
Now, the one thing I will say is, Nakobe Dean is like as like fun a player to root for.
Sure,
like he seems like an awesome guy. If the narrative arc is like didn't play his rookie year, disappointed his second year, and then now he's finally healthy. Both of his feet are no longer Liz Franked, and he's able to hold down that position. I think that would be a great story. And certainly he is a guy who like the guys on the team gravitate towards to some degree. So. He's a player to root for.
I pull for him, but it's far from. We don't know what he is, and it's year 3.
It's weird. I also wonder too, like, because if they are bad, there's going to be a lot of hand wringing about. Oh, you should have put more resources in the linebacker position. I think Saquon would be the person that people go to. I'm also just like, if you look around the league, there are not 2 linebackers for every team.
Yes,
there are not 64 good linebackers, good starting linebackers in the league. And
there are like 5.
Yeah. So there is a little bit of this where like other teams have questions at this position. If you look at the other depth charts, it's just that the Eagles have been.
This is historically their same problem over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So here we are again.
Well, they got a chance to go out and prove it. On Friday. All right, a quick ad turnaround here because Zach, was just telling us so much about how many people live in São Paolo.
I mean, I found that was a nice fact.
It was a good fact. The São Paolo thing, I'm still sort of on the verge of losing it. But that's okay. Let me tell you about Rite Aid and the Rite Aid Refreshery, because this line of beverages at Rite Aid ranges from familiar family favorites to revitalizing, better-for-you options. It's all exclusively at Rite Aid, including waters, purified, spring, electrolyte, distilled, and alkaline bottled water, plus flavored waters. You got your coconut waters that boasts a power-packed array of essential nutrients, fat-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, less than 1% sugar. You've got single-serve iced tea, juice, and lemonade. You got juices for the crowd, mystery juices if you're happen to find yourself in a São Paulo mall. Cold-pressed juices crafted from 100% fruits and vegetables, organic, non-GMO, no added sugars, preservatives, or artificial flavors. Rite Aid, if you're walking the streets, you need a little refreshment, how about you go to the Refreshery at Rite Aid? It is important to stay hydrated, especially during the late summer and early fall months. Get refreshment delivered. Shop online at riteaid.com/shop for same-day delivery or buy online, pick up in store, all of the Refreshery products.
And let me tell you about our friends over at Bet365, where it's never ordinary. Right now, on sign up, you can get yourself $200 when you bet just $5 using code PHLY365. Deposit $10, lose your first $5 wager, boom. $200 in bonus bucks coming your way. The bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. I took all mine and threw them into some futures bets for the season of enjoyment ahead. And their futures department is the best I've ever come across. It's amazing. What else is amazing about Bet365 is the early payout offers. They are the best in sports betting at this. In baseball, if your team goes up 5 runs at any point in the game, they'll cash you out, boom, right there on the spot. You don't even have to wait till the end of the game. And Bet365 same game parlays on NFL Sundays. We're so close. This Sunday is going to be great. And you'll see for yourself. Place a qualifying parlay bet totaling $20 or more on Sunday's NFL games and get up to $25 in bonus bets. Download the app and use that code PHLY365 when you sign up. And whatever the moment is, you'll find out that it's never ordinary at Bet365. We got Thursday kickoff. We got Friday action. You got Sunday and Monday night. And if your team goes up at any point in the game by 17 points, boom, cashed out right then and there on the spot. We're going to have some great promo boosts coming your way. Every day they power up the boosts on hundreds of bets to give you a chance to win with more than 10,000 boosts every month. We're going to be doing some PHLY boosts here. So keep your eyes out for the PHLY bets and boosts. Download the app, use code PHLY365 when you sign up, and get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
All right. We want to close this show, last segment, with a little draft. And because there is so much unknown about exactly how Vic Fangio is going to play these guys on defense, what we're going to do is we're going to draft. We're going to go snake style. And we're just drafting who you think is going to play. You're trying to draft a team of the most defensive snaps played cumulatively. Okay? Now,
This is difficult.
it's difficult. Let's figure out our order. You two guys play rock, paper, scissors. And the winner gets to pick
Best of
which
one?
spot they have. Yeah, best
I'm
of
a
one.
1, 2, 3 shoot, not shoot on 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3 shoot. All right.
Jamie takes it. 1, 2, 3, not rock, paper, scissors, huh?
Yeah, I've always been a 1, 2, 3 guy. Rock, paper, scissors. I guess I kind of mix them up.
You know what I did growing up, and I still get Rachel, my wife, makes fun of me for this. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. You ever heard that?
No, that's psycho stuff.
What are the official rules? I think they actually have national championships for this stuff.
They do, the Rochambeau.
Imagine being good at that, like year to year. Like
I
having-
knew a kid from college that actually went to like the U.S. Open of it, and it was like a big event on a stage.
Really?
Like, yeah.
I feel like he's probably cheating. Like he's got like, you know,
Rachel brags about
eyesight, he can
she
see
won.
the hand
She won
open
a
up,
tournament
you know?
at Disney World.
Really?
When she was a kid. So yes,
Wow.
big feather in her cap. Also, my son, he's been watching this show, Rescue Riders. It's like a dragon show, and they play hay, rock, fire instead of rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
What does hay beat?
Hay beats rock. Hay covers rock.
Okay.
Rock puts out the fire, and the fire obviously puts the hay in flames.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be hay.
But the difficulty of this is you always want to throw fire because fire's like this. It's just fun to do. Like you want to go like this. That's way more fun than hay. I mean rock, but fire. Like you get to move it. You get to move your fingers around. That's way better. All right, Jamie, you want to go first, second, or third?
I guess I will go. I'll go third.
Okay, Rich, what do you want to do?
that would have been my pick as well. I'll go second.
All right, I got to lead off. Yeah, now, leading off is tough.
Yeah, that's
Because you think about it, like the guys in the secondary, if you have guys who are going to play, they're going to play the most, but there's a lot of like injury risk there. CJ Gardner-Johnson hasn't stayed healthy in 3 seasons. Reed Blankenship has an injury history. Darius Slay is 34. And that's why I'm going off the board here. I'm taking my number 1 pick. I'm going Quinyon Mitchell.
wow.
I'm going
All
with the
right.
rookie. Vic Fangio said the other day he's ready to play every snap. I think if he stays healthy, he's going to be on the field. I'm going Quinyon.
He was in my top tier. I will say that.
I had him second, so I think that's a good pick. I understand it. After what Vic said yesterday, you don't know where he's going to play, but I think he's going to play, and obviously the injury element of this too, because we're looking at a couple things here, right? Like playing time,
Yep.
performance, obviously,
And durability is maybe the biggest one.
and then position. Yeah, that's the other one with injuries and stuff. Okay, so Quinyon Mitchell was number 2, so I'm going to take my number 1 pick.
Okay.
Feels probably not as good of a player as Quinyon Mitchell. I am going to take Reed Blankenship.
Okay.
Who was
Reasonable.
He was
who
in my
was
top tier as well.
second last year. By the way, I would not have been able to tell you offhand that James Bradbury led the defense in snaps.
Almost
right?
92% of the snaps.
By like it really wasn't that close.
I think
either, so-
Slay was second, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I have that wrong, but I was looking it up prior to the show.
So I think it was Bradbury, Blankenship, Slay, something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and I mean I remember in the offseason, I forget what the program is where the NFL gives money to kind of players on rookie contracts that play
Yes.
play a lot. I think Reed Blankenship got the second biggest payout in the entire league last year with
yeah.
that. So I think look, it's not perfect. Like he could get injured. Performance, maybe I'm a little bit worried about because they do have some other options back there at safety, but I'm going to go with Reed second.
All right, you guys I had 3 guys in my top tier first round picks. You guys took 2 of the 3.
Okay. How did your draft go last night, by the way?
I think pretty great.
Okay.
I got graded an A+, and Yahoo said I'm going to win the league.
Oh, nice.
I'll take that.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Big night in the house. So I'm going to save my pick for the first round because I get the snake, so I mentally feel better about him being a second round
for keepers
pick.
for next year.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the baby rhino.
Nice.
I'm going to take
this is a
Jalen
big one
Carter
because
here in the first.
Yes.
He was not in my top tier. He was actually the first of my second tier. But a little reverse psychology on myself. Now I get Darius Slay in the second round. I feel better about taking the old cornerback there.
You just like the value.
It's good
him
value
going
in the second round.
Well, the Carter thing is the big question here.
Sure.
And I think I would have had him as my second pick just because he's going to play.
They need him.
And if you look at the Dolphins snaps last year, Christian Wilkins played the 3rd most snaps of anybody on that defense.
I didn't even go
now,
that deep.
They had some injuries on the outside. But this is our expectation that Vic Fangio wants to really push the needle on how often those defensive linemen are on the field. All of the emphasis has been for Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis on increasing their level of fitness. I did the poll story of asking everybody on the team who's going to have a big season this year, and Devontae Smith, who is usually a very reliable narrator.
It's a great piece, by the way. Everyone should read that.
He said Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis because of their fitness, because of them seeming like they're going to be ready to play all these snaps. And so Jalen Carter, who I think has a chance to have a breakout season and compete for Defensive Player of the Year potentially, I think he's going to be on the field.
The thing that really got me kind of horned up about it was watching Mailata and Lane Johnson on Chris Long's podcast. And they're when you see somebody that is talking about a mutual, and there's just kind of this glow and holy bleep, this guy has it. And they all just were raving about Jalen Carter. So I think he's going to be on the field more than maybe I expected. So, and then I'll take Slay second. So I'm happy with that snake.
Do we think it's a little weird that Sean Desai basically ran these guys into the ground last year? And look, Matty Pencils, the worst defensive coordinator I've ever seen in my life. He did not have a very fresh defensive line he was working with at that point. And then they go, all right, we're going to take the guy who just believes. Just get out there.
Did you see Matty P, by the way?
I did.
He's hosting the show
as the
with
cameo
Belichick?
on the Belichick show on the Underdog Network. Very funny.
There was a jump cut, too, because
it was a
on
surprise.
Belichick for the first 5 minutes.
And Belichick, it is so funny that he's still demanding to take his fail son staff with him wherever he goes in media.
Yeah.
Come on.
From defensive coordinator to Underdog fantasy. There you go. Okay, next one. So I had one more player. I do not feel great about this because of injury. I feel as long as he is healthy, he's going to play every snap. He's
I'm right there with
a phenomenal player. I think he's going to bring an element of toughness and just he's an irritant to other teams. So I'm talking about C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So the counterpoint and why I'm a little bit scared, because the secondary guys play the most, is that he has played in 15 regular season games the last 2 years. It's not a lot. So.
Yeah, I had him in my second tier as well. I think it's a good pick, but it's just dependent on health.
Yeah, if you ask me which player would I bet on to play 100% of the snaps this week, it would be C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. He's going to be on the field as long as he's healthy for every snap. But he has to prove that he can stay healthy. And it's, it's one of those things where he would say that they've all been fluky. It's not like there's something about his body, but this is a player who invites contact and sort of invites that flukiness because of the way that he uses his body, which is what makes him such a good player. So, I think you're right. Now that was the top 5 tier for me. So now it's
we were all simpatico there.
Yeah, you guys, we got that exactly as a little bit different, but those 5 for sure. So now I gotta just go with I could take an upside swing, but I'm gonna stick with at the turn here. I'm gonna take the 2 edge rushers and get the snaps that they're gonna play. I'm gonna say Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat. Those are going to be my 2 little picks.
It's a nice little 1-2 combo piece.
I could go the nickel. We don't know if there's going to be a full-time nickel. Is Kelee, Ringo, or Isaiah Rodgers going to be on the outside? I know that Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat. I'm going for floor here, so I'm going to take those 2 guys.
I like that. So I'm either going to come in first or I'm going to come in last year. because I'm
And
gonna,
really, like, what are the stakes?
one of the stakes. I mean, we're probably not like Dana's just not even going to bother to keep track of this one, so it doesn't matter. So I'm going to take Nakobe Dean. Next.
I was considering him.
And look, his injury history, he has the two question marks where we don't know if he's good and we don't know if he's going to stay healthy.
Sure.
But like, I think if, he gets into a groove here, like the top linebacker plays all the snaps. So I will take that, and he will play either, 80% of the snaps or 20% of the snaps, whatever.
Right.
All right. Big snake coming my way here. Got to watch where I say that. I'm going to go. This is tough. I think I'm going to go with Kelee Ringo.
Wow. Okay.
A little bit,
That's a nice
little bit of an upside.
That's an
play.
upside swing.
Yeah, an upside swing there. And I think I'm going to go Milton Williams.
Okay.
I think he's going to steal a job at some point this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's a real chance, I think, that he ends up playing more snaps.
And he seems durable, so I feel confident that health-wise he'll be there. It's just, can he prove it? And look, is he in a contract year?
He is.
There's a lot to play for. So, I don't love those two picks, but I feel okay about them.
I like that. You've got Carter, Slay, Ringo, Milton. I think we can go all 6 rounds here. I think we can get to 18 guys who have a reasonable shot to be a part of this defense. Go ahead, Rich.
All right, I will take a higher floor player. There's another one that I was looking at that I thought, could be another like 80-20 guy. We'll see. I'm going to take Jordan Davis next.
He was who I was considering.
Yeah, he's like, look, he's not going to play as much as Jalen Carter.
Sure.
I'm sure they don't want him completely gassed, but he's also far and away the best player that they have at a starting position. So go with him. Hope he gets up to 50-ish%, and we'll take that and move on.
Okay. At this point, I feel like I have to take the upside swing on Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, he was the guy I was thinking of.
I think there's a chance come week 3 that he becomes a close to full-time player. So I'm going to take Cooper DeJean, and then I'm on the fence here. I could go linebacker. I could go Nolan Smith. I could make a case for Avonte Maddox or Isaiah Rodgers. Do I believe in the Zack Baun thing? I'm going to go.
It's tough.
I feel like I crossed out someone I wasn't supposed to cross out.
I feel like I did that too.
I'm going to go.
We'll let you know.
I'm going bold.
Oh, bold and beautiful.
I know where he's going.
I'm taking Trot Jr.
Yep.
It's been what I expect to happen all season long, all off season long. By mid-season, he becomes a close to full-time player. I'm gonna go and bet on Trot Jr.
It's a good pick. You put him on the table. I respect it.
All right. Well, since I have the two safeties, I think you could make an argument that Avonte Maddox, he could be the nickel in a couple days. He could provide some versatility at safety. But since I have the two safeties, I don't want to root for that. I want those guys to play the entire year.
Yeah.
So I am going to take Zack Baun. We'll see how that goes. Maybe
that's the right pick.
Hey, and look, maybe it's a thing where I get most of the snaps in the first half of the year. Bo gets most of the snaps in the second half of the year when Trot Jr. proves that he is the better player at that point. But Zach, just give me September. That's all.
Yeah, he wasn't going to get past me. I was hoping kind of Baun would fall to me there a little bit. But I will take Nolan Smith.
Okay.
I think dude's got a massive opportunity to get some big playing time if he shows up early. So I'll take the gamble there, and then on the way back,
pick Jalen Carter, Darius Slay, Kelee Ringo, Milton Williams.
No,
Nolan
Ringo's
Smith,
off the board.
And those are
my
that's
pick.
who you have.
Part of me wants to say Devin White just because.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Like, it could be so bad that he's forced into play, but I don't know. Like,
I mean, if we had done this draft yesterday, he would have been like the second guy taken.
Yeah,
right?
he would have been high.
Isaiah Rodgers, I just think cornerback's so competitive. I don't know if you can wiggle in there as much. I'm going to no, because if I go Ojomo, that means that Jordan Davis is a massive failure.
Or he's taking Milton snaps, potentially.
Yeah, I will.
Go Brandon Graham.
Yeah, I don't think BG's going to be playing much. I'll do it. I'll take Devin White as a risky,
fair bet,
late round pick.
High upside. All right, Rich, you have Reed Blankenship, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Zack Baun.
Well, there's a few options here. No Isaiah Rodgers yet. All right.
No,
Isaiah Rodgers.
He's on the
No
board.
Sidney Brown yet.
No Sidney Brown. Avonte Maddox.
What's he missing? At least 4?
At least 4.
And
Jalen Hunt. Oren Burks, if you want to bet on it. Brandon Graham.
that's possible. I'll take Moro Ojomo.
I had
Okay.
Ojomo in my second.
You're going
my
you're
third
going
tier.
low floor.
Yeah, low floor.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Or high floor, rather.
And low ceiling.
Okay.
I didn't trust my board there. I had Ojomo ahead of Devin White.
That's okay.
Yeah. You know,
All right,
as you
I'm
said,
going to close it out. I do think there's a chance that Avonte is going to make us all look dumb here.
Yeah.
And could be the nickel this week and just hold that job. There's a chance Isaiah Rodgers makes us look dumb and,
Sure.
is a full-time starter on the outside. BG, Jalen Hunt involved. But I'm going to go against your safety tandem, and I am going to take Sidney Brown. I think there's a chance that second half of the season he's a full-time starting player on the defense. So I'm going to take Sidney Brown to join my group of Quinyon Mitchell, Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, Cooper DeJean, Jeremiah Trotter, and now Sidney Brown. What perfect timing. We nailed this thing.
Right on the post.
Right on it. Whew, fantastic. All
Can't
right.
teach that.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for this episode of the PHLY Eagles podcast. We are back tomorrow. The Professor and Fran Duffy. We're going to be getting a little bit more into the weeds of this Eagles-Packers matchup. And then on Friday, Jamie and potentially Rich, maybe a mystery guest, at 2 o'clock as we count down the hours at that point to the game itself. You've also got the kickoff show from the Tradesman.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Great barbecue.
Fantastic.
I love barbecue.
You can
and
join.
football.
You might as well. I mean, what else? What better plans do you have on Friday night than watching it with a bunch of other sickos at the Tradesman? Awesome. And then we will have you with your full game day coverage, halftime show, post-game show. We have a very exciting announcement to come about what our post-game show is going to look like, so we look forward to that. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. We will talk to you tomorrow. Make sure you do check out that Eagles preview on allphly.com. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.